Thank you for the warm welcome. I hope I am audible. Okay. Now, can you follow, if I ask to do you something, can you do that for me? Okay. Can you clap your hands? Can you all stand up and clap your hands? Valerio, can you please take this picture and tell, and also then I'll show that I got a standing ovation. Got you.
Okay, that's it, goodbye.
Yes. So, PyCon Sweden 2022. I gave a talk titled as Python for Everyone. Yes, it is. And it was bad. Actually, bad is an understatement. It was horrible. The label was not fitting me. There were some technical issues. I started late than the scheduled time, and I had my slides on a website, hosted on a website, and never downloaded them. And you know what happened? Yes. How wonderful. I hate technology. Anyways, after the talk, I was in a very bad mood. I was in a, my talk was bad, this kind of mood. Then, suddenly, some random attendees started coming up to me and said, hey, Anwesha, we really liked your talk. Like, it was very helpful and inspiring. I was like, wow, people in the conference are so polite. At the conference dinner, Valerio, he came up to me and said, Anwesha, the talk was really nice. Do you want to do a keynote at PyCon Italy? He further explained the conference and the setup and everything, and he ended with, we also serve wine for lunch. And I was like, I know this is a trick. My talk was bad. It was very bad today. How come you can invite me for a keynote? And which developer conference serves wine for lunch, huh? So I thought it's a joke. I came back home, and guess what? I actually get an invitation email. And after fathoming the fact that it is not a joke, but a real invitation, I very, very gladly accepted the invitation. Then comes the tricky part. What to talk about? The talk topic. And I knew what it is. Legal it is. I am going to talk about all difficult legal theories in throwing big words at you in a very serious tone. I drafted the first sketch and went to my mentor, Tom Callaway, with that. Tom saw this first scratch and he was like, yeah, it's good. But Anwesha, do you want to talk about your journey instead? My journey? It's not interesting. No. It's like, what is so special about it? Then Tom said, calm down. Okay, so you thought your talk was bad, but still you got an invitation for keynote. Now you think your journey is not interesting, but it might be. For some people at least. Like many of us over here, I too deal with imposter syndrome on a regular day basis. And I tell you, it's an actual battle to fight with. So what do I do then? I go to my safety circle, to my friends, and ask for their feedback. Their constructive criticism not only helps me to progress in my journey, but also to get me out of that mental dilemma. So I urge all of you to have that safety circle, to have a bunch of friends to whom you can go to get your feedback. Now, I'm very much sure you can get at least some of them in this conference and in this wonderful community, Python community, as I did. Now, going back to the video call. Now, we were in this call with, I was in this call with Tom. Tom made me do an exercise. He asked me to think about the talks I liked and remember till date. I did the same. And I found one common similarity between all the talks. They all were telling compelling stories. Not some hard piece of code, not some legal theories, or describing or defining some high-level strategies, but essentially they were telling simple stories. All of them were told in a format of stories. So I knew that stories, it is for me, because stories has the power to connect with everyone. It does not matter what your background is, where you're coming from. It connects with all of us. So, welcome everyone to this storytelling session where we talk about some impossible aspirations and dreams, failure and successes, and most importantly, luck. And how the open source communities, being member of different open source communities, changed my life and the direction of my life and my journey. But before that, a little bit introduction about myself. Hello, I'm Anwesha, Anwesha Das. I'm a Master of Laws by Education and Technologist by passion. I help free and open source communities around the globe with my technical, legal, and organizational skills. I'm a fellow at Python Software Foundation. I am a proud PyLady. I'm an organizer at PyLadies Stockholm, and I led PyLadies efforts in India. I work at Red Hat. I wanted to wear that, but I could not. It's like I have become too Scandinavian for that, it seems. I write my blog at anweshadas.in. On a personal note, I'm a dancer, a knitter, and a mother to an 8-year-old Pi, who is the youngest volunteer in this conference. So, let's start from the start and let's read the book a little backwards. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I was a lawyer, a pretty successful one. I had two assistants carrying my laptops with me, typing for me, like starting from my emails to my petitions, different drafts, letters, and even my social media posts. From there, I am this software engineer who has to carry her own rugged backpack by herself. Now, it is the time for you to make the judgment on my judgment-making skill and question, why did you do that to yourself? Oh, and run away maybe. I don't see anyone running away. So you may be like, why did you do that to yourself? So why did I do that to myself? Let us figure it out. 2015 is the year when everything changed in my life. I was a new mom. And so like all new moms, the majority portion of my day was being spent feeding this little creature. Now, breastfeeding is a loving feeling and everything, but did anyone ever tell you that breastfeeding is boring? So I started reading books, whatever I can, in the house. And I found one book in the corner shelf. This book. What is this book? This actually talks about law, policy, and tech at the same time. I became interested and I started to read about it. And it opened a new horizon of possibilities to me. I studied cyber law and intellectual property in my bachelor's course, but I never knew what happens under the hood. What happens in the industry when these two very important and powerful mediums collide with each other, and how do they work with each other. It was fascinating for me. Now, so I decided in one fine early morning that I am going to start my career in law, policy, and tech. So I'm sure I was not drunk then. But how come I made that decision in one go? Was it a reasoned decision? No. I took a plunge on my passion. For me, at least for me, passion works the best. Because when you're passionate about something and you're getting into this journey where you don't know what the problems you are going to face or what are the battles you are going to fight, passion is what keeps me going every day. Also, if you cannot make it, or if I cannot make it at the end, then I'll be happy during the journey because I'm connected to the goal. So that was a moment of serendipity for me. I was ready to welcome the change with my open arms. I'm sure you will face these kind of moments in your life, maybe in this conference itself. I have only one request. Do not shut your eyes out of that. Give them a little chance. It might change your life for better. At least it did for me. So when I look back and now talk to you, I said one thing, that I was ready for the change. How come I can be ready? Like, what is the reason for my readiness? The reason for my readiness was lying on my lap, my daughter. I wanted the world to be a better place for my daughter and for the generations to come. And how come me joining law, tech, and policy will do that? Doesn't make any sense. It does actually. So our world is facing multifaceted problems now, starting from poverty, refugee crisis, global warming, and on top of everything, an active war. Now, synergy of both law and technology cannot eradicate those problems, but definitely it can provide the platform for those solutions to those problems. We have entered into this new era, the new era of technology, where our world is built around technology using computers. The laws helped us so far in our civilization needs to be amended to fit into our new reality. The policymakers should have a basic grasp of technology, and the technologists needs to have a basic understanding of how law works. We, the people who have the knowledge of technology, we are in a very privileged position. How? We get one of the good jobs. We are considered to have a high-profile career, and we get good amount of salary if you compare with other different professions. Now, but rarely we do see the larger potential, the power we have, that we have the power to change the world with our knowledge. We teach programming, but rarely we talk about ethics. How a small algorithmic change can affect the lives of millions around the world. It happened before, it is happening now, and it is going to happen in future. Many times the code we write can put human lives in danger. So when we write an apparent innocent piece of code, we should keep this bit in mind. We should keep this possibility in mind and see the bigger picture. I had the legal mind, and now what I needed was to gain technical knowledge. But technology, the world of computers, was complete alien to me. I got my first computer when I was 21. I had, as I said, I had cyber law in my bachelor's LLB course, law course. I thought I should have some cyber knowledge for that. Now, what I found in reality was astonishing, the gap between law and technology. That I never really needed that technology knowledge to pass the cyber law exam. Mugging up some basic theories of legal theories and acts and rules, and understanding some how law works was good enough for me to score a good marks. Let me elaborate on this point a bit. Now, during college days, we learned IP address to be an unique address for each computer in the whole wide world in the universe. Means we learned no two computers in the universe can have same IP address. So, and our whole understanding of legal philosophies and how cyber law works was based on that. when I got to know what is possible with technology and what is the reality, I was, least to say, I was kind of devastated. Both these technologists and the lawyers, the legal world, they both use language as their tool to accomplish their job. But both of these parties do not understand what the other is saying. So it's a complete API input and output mismatch, to say the least. Now, my first successful interaction with computer was with Sphinx, our favorite documentation tooling. I wrote my dissertation using Sphinx, and the output was way more professional than what my professors saw then. And they thought that I took someone else's book and changed the cover of it. They actually accused me of plagiarism. Now, it is not a problem for the people who we can see over here, but it is a problem for many of us who we cannot see over here. So when we are helping out new people, we are mentoring new people, we should not start the conversation as we all know, you must know. If you say those kind of comments, you make those kind of comments, it makes the person, the mentee, go into a shell and not asking more questions. So please be aware of that. Now, from Van's book, the chapter I became interested was on software patenting. I started reading about software patenting more and more, and I gave my first talk on software patenting, Anatomy of a Software Patent, at a renowned free and open source conference in Singapore in 2016. There, post my talk, I was having a conversation with Keith Berglett, CEO of Open Invention Network. He gave me a very important suggestion which changed the course of my career. He said, Anwesha, I think you should focus on licensing instead of patents. He also made it very clear why software licenses is at the very basis, at the very foundation of this whole software industry. From then, I shifted my whole focus into software licensing, but I was not being able to understand much because I did not understand technology. For me, library is this. I never knew there existed a different kind of library, which is this. Now, so I wanted to dissect this different license text. I started with GPL and found this very interesting phrase, linking. I could read that it comes from the C programming land, but I did not know programming. So I was not being able to understand it. So someone said that, Anwesha, start learning C. I started learning C, and I failed miserably. The syntaxes, the steps of writing and compiling was too confusing and complicated for me. As a lawyer and as a novice towards technology, I needed something which is simple, easy to read, and not that complex as C, also which has a similarity with the way we speak. And then Python came for rescue. Python gave me the wings to fly. I have been surrounded by Python programmers for years by then. But now I did not wanted to learn from them. I wanted to learn with my group, with my peer. So I started searching for some groups, like similar groups, and how magically I found PyLadies in my then town, Pune, PyLadies, Pune. Now, I have a question. How many of you know about PyLadies here? Okay. Now, for you who do not know, PyLadies is a global non-profit organization which helps women and friends to become an active member of Python community. One of the person who initiated this whole idea is here with us today, Audrey. Thank you, Audrey, for all your work. Your initiative, PyLadies, changed my life. Thank you so much. But unfortunately for me, PyLadies Pune was not active then. So I decided, for my own selfish interest, I want to reboot PyLadies Pune. What is the certain basic conditions or basic things you need to fix when you have to organize something? First, you need the venue. So for the venue, I went to my now employer, Red Hat. Red Hat has been a support for open source communities around the globe for many years. I went to Red Hat Pune, and Red Hat gave us the first venue for organizing PyLadies Pune in the Red Hat Pune facility. Now for the speaker, again I went to my Red Hat friends. They very gladly accepted the invitation and to be a speaker and mentor for PyLadies. Then come the most important part, gathering my group. Now I announced the event and waited till the July 2016 came. July 2016, PyLadies Pune rebooted after a long hibernation. What a colorful group we were. We inspired each other, we tried new things, we triumphed and pondered with each other. Now, we boosted each other's morale when in need. And I'm still friends and very, very connected to that particular chapter. When I embarked into the journey of in the tech field, my hook was not technology. Rather, it was always law and legal. I wanted to solve the legal problem in the technology world with the help of technology. When we think about project ideas, it is always advisable that we take something which solves our own problem rather solving someone else's problem. So if you are solving your problem, then you are connected with the problem and it will ease your life. So, and you will not leave the project in between. I did the same. I followed the rule. And I came up with this idea for a project of analyzing licensing scenario in different software ecosystems, starting with Python and Fedora. Now, this was a simple Python project with my very basic Python skills. It was based on for loops, nothing fancy. For Fedora, I checked all the approved packages, which is 19,221 to be precise. And for PyPI, I checked top 2,500 packages. And after that, I started submitting PRs to those projects, which does not have a license or which does not have a proper license, like suitable license. Now, it not only gave a very clear picture of the licensing scenario, that which licenses are being used the most, which are being favored by the developer, but also gave a very clear mindset, very clear picture of the developer mindset. Really? How? Now, at the end of it, I am a lawyer and I'm going to bore you. I got this stage of keynote. I'm going to bore you about licenses. Please bear with me. So what is software license? Software license is not merely fixes the term of distribution. It denotes something more than that. It denotes certain principles, school of thought, ethos, and state of spirit. Now, when you choose a software license, you are essentially making the boundary, you are making the limit for your project. You are choosing your users, your contributors, and your community. Therefore, if you want to contribute and if you want to have a project in this genre, then I think a basic understanding of software licensing is essential for each of the developers. Now, there is another point of caution over here. Please do not invent your own license. Please. Why do I say that? Let me give you a practical example of a license which I found in PyPI when I was analyzing PyPI. So there is this software where the developer has put this thing as license, this text as license. You can use my software if you buy me a free beer. Great, amazing. Now let us define it in the practical scenario. So you live in Florence. You got very interested and you want to use this software which is written by a developer who lives in India. So what do you have to do? You have to take an Indian visa, then take a 17-hour flight, fly to India, grab that developer, give him a free beer, again come take a 17-hour flight back home and start using it. Is it possible? No. Yes, great, someone said it. And is it viable? No. Is it doable? No. Then please don't do that. There are legal experts who has already written several licenses which will definitely suit your need. Choose from them. Now people like us who does not have a job, which was my situation then, and also does not have a university degree and a certification, it is very difficult for us to showcase the world what we are capable of, what we are working on. So as Carlton said in his talk in the morning, it's contributing to open source projects plays a huge role in that. Apart from that, social media comes in handy, writing blog posts and attending conferences, giving talks at conferences plays a very crucial role to that. Now, I started submitting CFPs in different conferences so that I can get the validation, the feedback from the community and to see that whether I am on the right track or not. And the first talk which got selected was at PyCon India 2016. It was a very special conference for me for many different reasons. First, I was introducing PyLadies to the Indian Python community for the first time. This was the first time in history we were doing that. It was a hard battle, but at the end of it, we fought it and we won it. And also there's a small initiative which I started. India is kind of a big country, and I figured out that having only one PyLadies chapter will not suffice all our needs. Therefore, I decided and I started this initiative that in each PyCon we'll have one new PyLadies chapter at least added to the PyLadies India umbrella. And from 2016 to 2019, from one active chapter, we became up to 8 active chapters. This is one thing I'm very, very proud about. Thank you. Now, secondly, my talk got selected and I was giving a talk on licensing. Now, when I talk to you and then I figure out that my life is actually magical. Why? By reading whose book I started my journey. Van Lindbergh, he was there. He was keynoting at that PyCon. He was there in my first talk where I was talking about licenses. And when I was going through my slides in the presentation and he was actually nodding, I can't tell you how surreal it was. I actually cannot be more grateful to my fortune for that moment. Now, thirdly, in the conference, I was introducing myself as an individual. This is the most important thing that happened in PyCon India that year. It was the opportunity for me, for the community, to see that who I am and to recognize me for what I am. So we face this situation where both the partners are working in the same field. Now, what is the responsibility for a community member? As a community member for us, that it is utmost important that please do not judge one partner for the deed of others. Here comes the story of another conference, PyCon Pune 2017. Here I contributed as the conference organizer for the first time. Also, it was my first time to work with hardware. And thank God for finding out that hardware is fun. Previously, I was told that only superbly talented, gifted technologists can work with hardware. So I did a project using MicroPython on a ESP8266 board designed in a shape of cute little bunny by Dr. Terry Oda and John Hawley. The project was that the right ear of the bunny will lit up whenever someone mentions me over Twitter. I, with no previous hardware knowledge or with MicroPython, could do the project within a day in a sprint. Thank you, John and Terry, for busting the myth that hardware is hard for me. Now, there is another thing very important I learned that day, that you get many different advices, and right now I am giving you a lot of advices. So all the advices should not be followed, because what is true for me cannot be true for everyone. Try, fail, and then decide not to do it. Just do not follow any advice, closing your eyes. Now, the good reviews at PyCon India gave me the courage to submit talk in PyCon US. And guess what? My talk got selected. I was scared to give this talk. I was giving talk in front of a bunch of upstream developers who are best in their work in the world. It was a difficult proposition for me. But to my surprise and happiness, the talk was very well accepted. People started coming up to me after the talk and asking me questions about licenses, patenting, and legal stuff. And also, I found out later that Dr. Brett Cannon, the CPython code developer and the steering council member, he chooses a different license for his personal projects after listening to my talk. That feels nice. PyCon US that year also gave me the opportunity to mingle with the global Python community and to see that how wonderful and welcoming it is. They welcomed me with open arms, and I found my friends whom I call family now. There's a very funny, nice incident that happened, humbling incident that happened that year as well. So Bradley Kuhn from Software Conservancy was there and the Software Conservancy booth. And now I look up to Bradley. So I was very apprehensive going and talking to him. And when I went, and finally I went and talked to him and gave my introduction and what I am talking about the next day, he actually took out time, like 2.5 hours, sat with me and polished my talk. And also he figured out, he explained different legal theories and what is happening in the software industry. It was so humbling. I felt so privileged that a person of his stature actually sat down with me, a novice, and explained these things. This community is actually wonderful. Now, in PyCon US, there's another person I met, Tom Spot Callaway. So Tom, for the first time when I saw Tom, he was standing at the Red Hat booth, wearing his Red Hat, playing games on his laptop and releasing Fedora packages at the same time, and answering questions to random people from random experience level, novice, very experienced, intermediate, and answering about all the questions, starting from legal, community, and technical. And I could also see that there's a difference between how the developers approached Tom and how the developers approached me. They saw me as someone who belongs from a different clan, the clan of lawyers. From that day onwards, I knew what I want to be. I want to be Tom Callaway. I want to be someone who is within from the community, whom the developers see as one of their own. Also, during PyCon US 2017, I asked John and Terry, what happens after we turn the computer on? Before this day, I was very intrigued about this topic, and I asked it to many people. Either I got mainly 3 answers. You are not technical enough to understand it. This is a too advanced topic for you, and I do not know. This is for the first time when I got an answer. Actually, 2 explanations. The first explanation is this. There's a magic guinea pig which starts running after we switch on the computer, and it automatically starts. Now the second one being a detailed description on how the BIOS and the firmware work, the system boots with kernel. So for the first time in my life, I could see what happens under the hood, and also it gave me the confidence, John gave me the confidence that with enough amount of hardware, hard work, you can actually master in system administration. From there, I shifted my whole focus to system administration. I came back home under mentorship of John. I started reading about it, and I started maintaining firstly my own infrastructure, Anwesha.in, and then when I gained a little confidence, I started maintaining the infrastructure for DGP LUG, for multiple services for them. Now to have a proper infrastructure knowledge, one needs to work with production system. So why? When you are dealing with other people's data in the production, you are very cautious. You are on your toes. Unlike when you are dealing with your own infrastructure, you can be relaxed and reluctant to solve the problems. So how can we get that opportunity? Contributing to open source projects as infrastructure in the infrastructure group gives you that opportunity. In the Python ecosystem, majorly our infrastructures is volunteer led. So you can, if you are interested, you can think of joining one of these groups. But how can you join? The first thing is that you need to gain the trust. How can you gain trust? Start communicating. Be on the channel in whichever platform it is. Start general communication with the project people. Now, till now, I have said my life is magical. Yes, it is. But it is not smooth. I had my battles. I had my battle with depression. As I started climbing tree in the technical world, I gained a lot of friends. But I also started getting harassed in different platforms. Be it fake news, vulgar memes, online trolling, I had it all. You know who then stood with me? This community, my community friends. They helped me the most when I needed them. My only suggestion to any of you who is going through this situation, please seek help, scientific medical help. Mental health issues needs to be treated in the same way as physical problems, say as a broken bone. So please take care and go to a specialist therapist. Now, acknowledging is the first step towards the solution. When my doctor said that I need to go and talk to someone and tell that friend, very close friend, that I am dealing with this problem, you know whom I went to? I went to these 2 people. My doctor was surprised that why are you going to someone you have met only few times in real life? But when I say, I mean it, they are my family. 2019, I started my full-time job as a community manager and editorial coordinator in the tech industry that was my first job in the tech field. Now, you might ask me that, Anwesha, you were studying about system administration and you got a job as a community manager. Now, we wait for the perfect opportunity to come into our life. But in between, we miss a lot of opportunities which could have been perfect for us. I got this opportunity and I grabbed it with my both hands. Now, this gave me the chance to see what happens in the industry. I knew what happens in the open source project world, but I never knew what happens in the industry. It gave me the opportunity to work with different communities, starting from systems to data to AI, ML, privacy, security. This was such an enriching experience for me, and I want to thank here Hasgi and Zainab for giving me this opportunity. Then 2020, COVID happens. India was under lockdown from March 2020. And during that lockdown period, 2021, something happened. 2012, I attended a conference, a free software conference, the biggest free software conference then in India, FOSS.in, and a tech lawyer told me that a lawyer cannot be an engineer. An engineer can become a lawyer, but vice versa, no. But that happened that year. A lawyer became a cloud engineer. I joined Crawlstack. I joined Crawlstack as a cloud engineer to help them with their infrastructure. And it was very humbling to know later that they fixed their Let's Encrypt configuration after reading my blog post. And now I want to share that please start writing blog posts. Social media is for instant gratification, but blog post is for long term. It for the future reader. Maybe the future reader many times be you. Like for preparing this keynote, I was going back and to my blog post again and again to find out what happened to me, what did I do. There are times I found out, okay, I did this, and I patted my back sometimes as well. So please start writing blog posts, however small it is. This can be a 45-minute slide by itself and talk by itself. So I don't have time, I cannot say that. So I moved to Sweden in 2021, and I'm still adjusting with cold and more cold, with snow and more snow, and with sun and no sun. And not to forget the friendly bacteria and the viruses which keep showering their love to me time and again. Now, what do normal people do when they move countries? They go and search for schooling, grocery, maybe look at the neighborhood. What do we Python people do? We go to a PyCon after party. And what did I also do to that? After doing that, I joined PyLadies Stockholm. With PyLadies, from November onwards, my journey with PyLadies Stockholm started. This Python community became my group, my family, my friends in this unknown land. Meanwhile, in December 2021, I started a new job as a Linux system administrator in the Sixum project. I'm very grateful to Linus Norberry and Mulvad VPN for giving me the opportunity to work at this project. Later, I found that how did I got this job? That not only they saw what did I do previously, like as technically, what am I capable of, but also this is a very close-knit group. They found out that I work with open source projects. This is a free software project, and they were confident enough that I will be able to understand their working. So when I said in the beginning that open source does not only define the terms of distribution, it's about philosophy, this is what I mean. Now, as I said, I never used computer before 2012. When I started, Fedora became my first operating system. Over the years, I have had many friends who are Red Hatters. And honestly, I was pretty envious at them. And why not? When you think about Linux, the first few phrases that comes to your mind is Red Hat. And also when you look for examples to give of successful open source business, Red Hat is rightfully the first choice. In 2022, my 6 years long cherished dream came true and I joined Red Hat. In the Ansible community engineering team, this is my wonderful team, and as a software engineer. Does any of you use Ansible over here? Okay, great. So, so if you have installed Ansible from PyPI, building and releasing that wheel is a part of my day job. On the day of the travel, I released Ansible 7.6.0 and RC148. How did I landed this job? It also has an open source connection. When I started PyLadies Pune, there was an intern who was a part of PyLadies Pune group. She was working at Red Hat in the Fedora engineering team. She saw my journey very closely, and when she saw that a perfect position for me, she remembered me and she referred to me. Here I want to thank Krishna for keeping the trust in me. Now, when you do the community work, the very small things, moving chairs here and there, or organizing small events, helping organizing events, you don't see the result immediately. But you take a long haul and then definitely you see the result of your hard work. Python for Everyone is an initiative which is very, very close to my heart. I have started this initiative after I moved to Stockholm. I became friends with many other immigrant people, immigrant women in particular. So what I saw is that they were teachers, some of them were archaeologists, and some of them were economists at their homeland. But now they are jobless. Why? Because they do not know the local language Swedish. And tech is one industry where the language barrier is little less. So this is a program to help the immigrant women to start their career in tech. I had this help of this wonderful organization, PyLadies, so I thought, why don't I share it with everyone, with my newfound friends, and bring them under PyLadies umbrella, so we started this initiative. And when I asked for help from the international community, the help poured in from everywhere. There is Al, who took a session in Python for Everyone. There is many like Al who actually took sessions. This is the power of our community. Now we have sessions for many different things, starting from basic Linux system administration to how to use command lines and Python programming, and also mental health and how to communicate, those basic things as well. Now, in my whole journey, what I gained, what is my achievement? This is my achievement. This is my success, my friends. And I say this very, very proudly. I could not contain all of my friends' photo over here. I miss many of them, whom I can see over here as well. But I know all my material successes and achievements can leave me, but they will not. They will hold my hand and take me out in light when I am in deepest dark. Now, I want to thank here a few people without whom this talk was not possible. Thank you, Shoptok, whom I have nagged randomly at 2 a.m. in the morning for the last couple of months, yes. Thank you, Tom, John, Brett, Carol, Kushal, and Pai for listening to my unfiltered blabbering for hours. Now I'm still unfinished, so as my journey. So hopefully, after 30 years, I'll come again and give talk on this same topic, and we'll see that where did Anwesha go from 2023. Now, my journey is a result of hard work, a lot of it. I'm in so love with hardware. I keep saying hardware like all the time. Courage, keeping faith, building trust, act of random kindness by others, and a fair share of luck. I own my scars now. For you, none of my community talk can be complete, like it is incomplete without this quote from Brett. Came for the language and stayed for the community. Brett, you echoed many of our emotions when you said this. So keep exploring, keep trying new things, and it starts now. We'll see each other in PyCon Italy 2024, and we'll figure out what are the new things we learned, what are the new things we hacked on, who are the new friends we made, what are the new community endeavors we took. Thank you, and see you in the hallways. I promise not to drink during lunch. Thank you.